The PN government may not proceed with the takeover of Gamuda's 4 tolled highways. Long Chi Wei, who is the Senior Associate Director of Equity Research at Affin Hwang Capital Research, says Putrajaya faces financial constraints after introducing economic stimulus measures in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. Instead, the new government may be more open to public-private partnership projects. The plan under the previous PH administration was to take over the Damansara Puchong Expressway, Sprint Expressway, Shah Alam Expressway and Smart Tunnel for 2.36 billion ringgit. It was to be funded by a bond issuance fully financed and paid for from the collection of congestion charges. Now that seems unlikely to happen. Long gathers that Gamuda has engaged the government to talk about reviving mega infrastructure projects such as the MRT3 instead, to pump prime the economy. The company, together with MMC Corp and George Kent, had been expected to bag the turnkey contractor job for the project. The PH government put it on the back burner in May 2018. A Fitch Solutions unit warns that Malaysia's economic growth could be stuck in second gear over the next decade, no thanks to prolonged political uncertainty and stalling reform momentum amid a shift toward populism. Fitch Solutions Country Risk and Industry Research is expecting Malaysia's GDP growth to moderate to an annual average of 3.4% over the next 10 years, versus the 6.4% average in the preceding decade. It warns less favourable demographics and diminished fiscal space to cushion the economy in times of crisis also further weigh on long-term prospects, and says the country needs to upgrade its economy or stay in the middle income trap. The World Bank isn't optimistic either, for this year at least, cutting its forecast for Malaysia's 2020 GDP contraction to 3.1% this year, compared with its previous forecast of 0.1%. However, it says the domestic economy should expand in 2021 at 6.9% as the COVID-19 outbreak eases. Meanwhile, the IMF cut its contraction forecast for the Malaysian economy from 1.7% to 3.8% this year. Malaysia's economic growth of 4.3% in 2019 was already the country's lowest level since the global financial crisis in 2009. DRB Highcom swung to a loss of 173.27 million ringgit in the first quarter of FY20 after 5 straight profitable quarters as movement restrictions hurt its automotive and services segments. There is no comparable quarter following the change to its financial year end to December 31st. Its automotive segment recorded a pre-tax loss of 44.12 million ringgit as business operations temporarily ceased. Meanwhile, the services sector saw a pre-tax loss of 18.78 million ringgit. Compounding the impact was 72 million ringgit in forex losses on translation of payables and borrowings. Quarterly revenue amounted to 2.74 billion ringgit, which was its lowest since the quarter ended June 30th, 2018, when it posted revenue of 2.65 billion ringgit. Going forward, DRB Highcom expects its FY20 operational performance to be adversely affected by the ongoing crisis. It plans to continue implementing prudent cost optimization measures and cash flow management to ensure it is able to meet its financial and operational obligations. The KL High Court will announce its decision on the 1MDB forfeiture action against former Cabinet Minister Tan Sri Kasita Gadam next month. The government is seeking to forfeit 100,000 ringgit from the ex-Land and Cooperative Development Minister. The MACC, which initiated the action, believes the monies which came from then PM Datuk Sri Najib Razak were sourced from illegal activities and linked to 1MDB. However, Kasita's lawyer argued today that while the Sabah UMNO politician did receive the money from Najib, there is no proof that the monies came from illegal sources. She added that Kasita was given the 100,000 ringgit to cover preparation expenses ahead of the 2013 general election, and as the money has been spent, the 100,000 ringgit seized by the MACC was actually his own money. In response, The prosecution said the fact that Najib has been charged under anti-graft and money laundering laws shows that there has already been a predicate offence, a crime that is a component of a more serious crime. The state also argued that even though the money has since been used up, the court has the power to order Qasida to repay the amount to the government. The High Court will deliver its decision on July 24th. Tencent has reportedly purchased video streaming platform Iflix's content, technology and resources. According to Reuters, the Chinese tech giant said Iflix's catalogue of international, local and original content would enable it to expand the reach of its overseas video streaming service WeTV, which it launched in Thailand in 2019. The Newswire said a Tencent spokeswoman declined to disclose the size of the deal. However, it said US entertainment media outlet Variety, which first published the news yesterday, cited people with knowledge of the agreement as saying the deal was worth several tens of millions of US dollars. That, it pointed out, would make the deal significantly smaller than the $1 billion US dollar or 4.28 billion ringgit valuation that Iflix sought in 2019 when it planned a public listing in Australia. The Malaysian startup, which had raised over 300 million US dollars, claims to have over 25 million active users in Southeast Asia. But two sources familiar with the matter told Reuters it was facing significant accumulated losses and financial difficulties.